Hello, my fellow YouTubers and subscribers. Welcome once again to another live Q&A. It's been a while since the last one. I think a good month or so. So let me turn the light on. It's a bit dim in here. Okay. That will eventually warm up. Sorry about the mess. It is unfortunately a very cramped space. I don't have the luxury of space. So, if you're new to this channel, I do sometimes do live Q&As. You get to ask your own questions to me, and you will get an instant answer. I used to do pre-recorded Q&As where I gathered questions and assembled a video edit, essentially. But nowadays, it's just easier to do it live because then you get an instant answer and you can ask as many questions as you like. Whereas I used to have to restrict it to like 20 questions, and what's the point of that? You may as well just... you may as well just do it this way for fun. So, with that being said, this is a chance to ask me what you want. I can't promise a definitive answer for everything, but I will try my best. I may occasionally need to take a sip of water if my voice gets a bit scratchy, but bear with me on that one. And for those of you who may not have seen me for a while, you may have noticed that I've lost a little bit of weight recently. It's a process that I'm continuing to follow, and I have been since the start of this year. And I actually found out recently that I lost 3 stone since January, so I'm pretty happy with that. I've actually got my dessert, which is a protein yogurt, so just forgive me for a sec. Oh, it's refreshing. Hello to the guys in the chat. I can already see people arriving. That's great. California. I didn't know you were from California. That's great. Lauren, hello. Hello. Not long to Elemental now, Lauren. Not long. Yeah. Whew. Hello, the one. Hello, Bugs Bunny. Hello, Zach. Hello, Harry. Harry gets the first question. How would you rank the Little Mermaid songs? Ooh, good question. I don't know how many there are, so I go from my memory. I'm not. Are you talking about just in the original movie or including the sequels? Because I haven't seen Ariel's beginning yet. I'll just do the ones in the first movie. So, my least favorite song in the original Little Mermaid is the opening song, "Fathoms Below." I don't know why. I think because it's so short, I've never been able to gravitate towards that song. I mean, it's fine, but it's just very quick, and it almost doesn't feel... I don't know, it doesn't feel like it belongs in that film. I don't know why. It's never appealed to me. So Fathoms Below would be my least favorite. I would then do Le Poisson, the Chef Louis song, although that is quite a fun song. Yes, Fathoms Below, Le Poisson. What would be next? God. Probably Under the Sea, even though I love it. Then, no, actually, wrong. I would have the song with Triton's Daughters. I don't even know the name of the song. I'd have that. Then I would have Under the Sea. Then Part of Your World. Then Kiss the Girl. Then Poor Unfortunate Souls. That is my favorite song in The Little Mermaid. It's just so creepy, I love it. But I'm not looking forward to seeing how they trash it in the remake. Well, assuming that they do, we'll see what happens. But let's be honest, it's highly likely no one's going to be interested. Where are my next questions? Do you think Danny Quinn and Ethan would have returned again if Prime Move continued? I would have hoped so, because that was such a lazy story that was never followed again. I didn't mind the fact that they were brothers. I mean, it kind of made sense with the Gremlin story, the fact that, of the backstory. It was basically, that was how Danny was introduced into the series. But the trouble is, as the series went on, they just set up plot lines that they never followed through. Like New Dawn, it just became so convoluted. So, yeah, if I were to reboot Primeval, I would probably revisit that and hopefully tie that up, because that that was a massive plot hole. That series 4, the finale of series 4 was honestly one of the most disappointing finales. It was so bad. Hey Jared, I have seen a couple of the Fast and Furious movies. I've seen Fast 5 and Hobbs and Shaw. Couldn't tell you anything about either of them. They were mildly entertaining, but again, I'm not. If you've just seen, I've just uploaded a random Fast and Furious 10. Not really into Fast and Furious, to be honest. Maybe I will review the franchise one day, but it's not on my to-do list, really. Yes, Elemental definitely looks amazing. I hope Pixar can get back on track with that, because I think it's fair to say a lot of us weren't keen on Lightyear, but yes. I didn't know that Disney Plus were removing content. No. Howard Ashman. Yeah, I would watch that. I would love to watch that documentary. I know he was a massive part of Disney's success. That's an understatement. Favorite straight-to-video Disney sequel? The Lion King 2 is definitely one of them. I actually really like Peter Pan Return to Neverland. It's gone up in my opinion. Really enjoy that. Those two are good. Patch's London Adventure I also think is a decent film, but I'll say The Lion King 2 if I had to pick one. Yeah, and I think Howard Ashman, as you say, Lauren, with his work on the songs, he definitely kind of cemented the kind of formula, I suppose, for some of those Renaissance films. A lot of them being musical, and the way the music helped tell the story. So I applaud him for that. It's such a shame that his work was short-lived. Who do you think is the more dangerous Nolan Batman villain, the Joker or Bane? That's a difficult question because it depends on the context that you're asking. If you're asking in terms of physical intimidation, clearly Bane is the superior one. But if you're asking for mental intimidation, then the Joker. So it depends on the context of the question, but both for very different reasons. I can't pick an overall one because, again, not sure how you're asking me. It depends. Are you avoiding the Little Mermaid remake? Unfortunately not. I am going to review it for you against my better judgment. And unfortunately I have to pay for it because it's in the cinemas, or it will be next week. Fuck. And apparently it's really long as well, which that doesn't excite me. It's like 2 hours, 15 minutes, which is ridiculously long. The story doesn't need to be that long. It's almost an hour longer. 1 hour longer than the original. For fuck's sake. God. It's going to be the same. It's going to be pointless changes for the sake of doing it. And it's going to be added backstory that no one cares about. And there's even... Apparently, Awkwafina has a song, a Scuttle. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm dreading it, to be honest. Awkwafina was kind of annoying in Raya and the Last Dragon. Not that that was her fault, but still a problem, though, isn't it? Do you think this could be the best summer for movies since 2019? Maybe. Obviously, it might be the most released since 2019. I mean, well, last year there was quite a few summer releases. But the 2 years before that, with the pandemic, that wasn't necessarily possible. I think Oppenheimer is going to be the standout movie. I'm really looking forward to that film. In terms of anything else, not really sure. I'm really not sure. I have to look at what's coming out. I mean, Indiana Jones is the early reviews are in, and they're not good. Well, I said this at the beginning. It's too late in the day to be doing this, Harrison. Sorry. But there we are. I think Across the Spider-Verse and Oppenheimer are going to be highlights for me. I hope that they're both big films. They really ought to be. Jared, and rightly so, you don't need to see it. Stick to the original. But I'm only seeing it for you guys. Not that it's worth talking about the remakes anymore. What are your thoughts about the backlash and resistance Elemental has gotten from people? I didn't know there was backlash, so honestly, I have no thoughts. What's the backlash? If you could explain to me, maybe I can answer that question, but I haven't heard anything about it. Are you looking forward to Ruby Gilman and Teenage Kraken? Actually, no. Weirdly, no. I'm not looking forward to it. I might see it, but to me, I feel like the animation, the character designs have been ripped off of Onward. If you look at the designs for Onward, the color scheming and the sort of blockiness of the animation, if that makes sense, is it feels like Onward. It feels like it's in the same universe as that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe DreamWorks have kind of taken a bit of inspiration from Onward. The world building kind of being slightly ironic in that it's personified as slightly human, slightly how we would. It's kind of juxtaposed, isn't it? It's kind of a representative of how we live, but it's creatures of another world in it's sort of a world that looks similar to ours. It's a bit like when Shark Tale was made. They tried to make it feel like our world, but under the sea, but it didn't work because how can electricity run underwater? There we are. Um, I mean, it doesn't look horrible, the Teenage Kraken film, but I don't know what it's supposed to be. Is it a coming of age story? Is it a love story? I don't know. But I suppose I'll give it a chance. Favorite moment or line in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Can't remember the dialogue, but I liked all the stuff with Goldilocks and the Three Bears when Father Bear's like, "Excuse me, my darling, we're looking for the legendary Puss in Boots. Have you seen him?" Something like that. But I think every time that Death came on screen, that was awesome. Like the finale when like I think there's like 4 or 5 different factions of characters that fight it all out for this star. It's crazy. I mean, it gets crazy, but it's awesome. It's an awesome finale, and that's such a well written film. Really, really surprised me how good that film was. Ricardo Montalban would have been a good Smaug. I would have been interested. I need to access them. If they're on streaming, let me know, because then I can try to watch them. I hear the Tom and Jerry movie from 1992 is awful. The 2021 film, I did see the trailer for it. I think it's the one with Chloe Grace Moretz, but God, it looks shit. Oh God, it looks terrible. If you want me to rant on them, I'll happily do that, but they don't look good. Ricardo Montalban in a Star Wars movie. I think he could potentially. He could have been. It could have been maybe someone of the Empire, or maybe some kind of smuggler. Who knows? There have been many roles he could have played, but definitely a villain for sure. I think he could have been one of these sort of old Sith. Maybe that would be nice to see. But obviously, we won't see that anymore. Do I watch The Flash? If you're talking about the TV show, no. If you're talking about will I see the new movie, probably, but I'm not excited for it. Yeah, I mean, good for you. I mean, all power to you if you like Fast and Furious, but I've never gotten into it, which is weird. I like action movies, and I sometimes like watching action films that don't have much of a story that you can turn your brain off to. But Fast and Furious it's overstayed its welcome. No one cares about it, but there's a handful of people that like it. For some reason, the movies make money, so whatever, I suppose. But I've never seen the appeal personally. But there we are. Yeah, I mean, well, that's a weird comment. And what gives you the vibe that it feels like Zootopia? I'd love to hear more about that. I think it definitely could be best Pixar's film since Soul. I mean, Inside Out 2 is coming next year, so I'm excited for. But Soul was very good. Soul was really good. So that's a tough act to follow. Who do you think is the best lightsaber duelist in the Star Wars films? It's a good question. Many characters have different styles, but this is going to be quite an odd choice. But I'm going to go with Darth Maul. And I know he's only in The Phantom Menace, but his acrobatics and the way he swings the double-ended lightsaber around is awesome. I love that. I mean, he's a bit of a ninja, but I just love the way he fights. I think Ray Park I think he trained in martial arts, so no wonder he's implemented a lot of that style in the character. So yeah, good for him. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of critics that have said it's good. Most of them have said it's better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but as far as the Dial of Destiny is concerned, people are saying it's fine, but it's just another Indiana Jones film. It's not anything special. Not quite the swan song that Harrison was hoping for. I'm still going to see it. I'll still watch it. I was going to see it anyway to review it, but yeah, Indiana Jones is a series that the films are a very mixed bag for me. I don't watch National Geographic. I'm sorry. I probably should, but I don't. No, you're not crazy to like Lightyear. That's your opinion. I totally respect that. I just think I gave it a pass in my review, but it's not great in my opinion. I think there are much better Pixar films, but I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, no, it's not because of the LGBTQ scene. I mean, that was totally ridiculous. They didn't need to ban the film in some countries for that. Everything like that is always taken out of context nowadays. You know, whatever. To be honest, no, I'm not really looking forward to Ninja Turtles. I have nothing against Ninja Turtles, but I was more of a fan of it when I was younger, to be honest. Well, Zach, the early reviews, like there's early like press screenings have happened. I think some critics have seen it because like Empire and Guardian in the UK have reviewed the movie, and it's gotten like 3 stars out of 5, so like decent. Some have given it 2, I think. You just need to look it up. Yeah, the Dumbo remake was needlessly padded. Oh, God. Thank God we got Oppenheimer this year. Thank God for Christopher Nolan. He's one of the filmmakers working nowadays that really puts a lot of effort and care into his films. He's such an intelligent guy, so I appreciate that he treats his audience with intelligence. Yes, the live-action Little Mermaid remake is 135 minutes. Believe that shit. Look it up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Dial of Destiny. I just can't get excited for it. I'm sorry. One thing, Harrison Ford is 80 years old. He's way too old to be doing this. He was too old in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but thinking about it now, he gets a pass for that because if he's coming back to do this 15 years after, then there's something wrong with him. You know, the second reason why I'm not excited for it, the Nazis are back, and I don't think we need the Nazis for a third time. Thirdly, if the film really is about time travel, then they haven't learned anything from the aliens in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So, what else is there to say? Oh dear. Favorite characters to play as in Lego Lord of the Rings. I mean, all of them are great. I don't know. My favorite characters to play as. Most of them control the same. Gandalf was always fun to play as. I mean, the hobbits had like backpack tools which you could use. All of like the trolls and everything else, that was fun. More characters like Sauron and Saruman, like the villains, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not really mentioning Lego the Hobbit, more just Lego Lord of the Rings. Lego the Hobbit was a total waste. What a waste of a game. Do you think Robin will ever appear in the sequels to The Batman? Maybe. I don't know who they cast, but I would watch sequels to Matt Reeves' Batman film. Surprisingly great film. Well, yeah, Oppenheimer. It's about the atom bomb, isn't it? I think Carl Oppenheimer, I believe is Cillian Murphy. So yeah, I can't wait to see what Chris Nolan's got in store. Favorite moment in Batman and Robin, the end credits. But other than the end credits, I mean, it's one of those films. It's so bad that it's actually quite funny. The most laughable moment that I think is most entertaining is probably the back credit card. It's just so fucking stupid. Oh God almighty. Yeah, I suppose it does feel a bit like Luca in some respects. I don't know. Either way, it feels derivative of Pixar, but we'll see how it looks. Okay, well, if that's all the backlash is, then I'd say to those people, well, go and see the movie. You know, if you feel that strongly about it, go and watch it and then see how you feel. Trailers can be misleading, so yeah, I think the backlash is totally stupid. Yeah, fair enough. Worst movie based on a book you've seen? Probably Artemis Fowl. I haven't read the book, but everyone who has read the book has said the movie is utter shite. And to be fair, it kind of is. It's such a mess of a movie. Oy vey. But I mean, the Golden Compass is bad, but there are good things in it. It's not a total failure, but Artemis Fowl is a total failure. So for me, it's probably that. Uh, Favorite composer of the Wizarding World franchise? That's a good question. Obviously, John Williams would be a choice because he composed the first three movies. So it's likely to be John Williams, but I do like the other composers. I really like Patrick Doyle's score for The Goblet of Fire. I will probably go with John Williams because he defined it, and some of his music from the first three is beautiful. But I think all of them are worthy of merit. Like Nicholas Hooper. Nicholas Hooper's got some good music for 5 and 6. Alexander Desplat composed the Deathly Hallows films, and he did a good job there. James Newton Howard did Fantastic Beasts. The music has actually been fairly consistent. I think most of the music is pretty good across the Potter and the Wizarding World films. And even some of the soundtracks to the games are really good. Like the soundtrack to the Order of the Phoenix game. Oh, I love it. Amazing. You need to listen to it. It's really good, especially if you're playing the game. It's great. I don't think Pixar has lost what it used to be. I think they've had moments where they've relapsed, but I don't think they've completely lost the scope of what they're trying to achieve. I believe that there's still magic there. I mean, heck, they're in far better place than Illumination, as far as I'm concerned. They're actually making a Joker 2 musical? Really? They're making it a musical? If so, yes, I agree with you, Harry. That's a bizarre decision. Are you looking forward to Disney's Wish? Yes, I did see the trailer. Sorry, I didn't get to review the trailer, but I'm looking forward to it. Although the main girl in it, the protagonist, looks a bit like Isabella from Encanto. So I don't know if they nicked the character design, but still, it does look pretty good. I think it could be a very beautiful film if done correctly. You say Harrison Ford in Indy 5 looks like Clint Eastwood. Well, I don't know if I go that far, but it's certainly not far behind. I mean, there's no way this can be believable. Like, they left it too long to make the Dial of Destiny. And let's face it, the fourth movie, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, wasn't a success. So it should have stayed as a trilogy, man. It should have just been a trilogy. But I'm convinced Indy's going to die in the end, and the series is going to be handed to either Phoebe Waller-Bridge or someone else, and there'll be a spin-off series made on Disney Plus, and the franchise will just continue that way. And if they make any more movies, it will just be a spin-off. Although apparently the Young Indiana Jones series is coming to Disney Plus, which would be fun. So if they make any more films, I guess they could do Young Indiana Jones, but I have to cast someone else, and I don't know how people would react to that. I'd be interested, but there's only so much you can do with Indiana Jones. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Destiny. Would you like to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt teaming up with Christian Bale as Robin in Batman Nolanverse? Yeah, I would absolutely love that. I would love Robin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt to be Robin. I actually got to rewatch The Dark Knight Rises in cinema recently because they did a re-release screening, and I've forgotten how emotional that film was. It's really, really good, and I don't mind the end that they call him Robin and that he gives him the Batcave. That's awesome. It definitely left the door slightly open for his story to continue. Although Bale's Batman has his ending, I think we can safely say there's an open possibility for that crossover to happen. If they want to bring Nolan and Levitt into this, well, DC verse, although it's being rebooted by James Gunn, so it's unlikely to happen. Yeah. I've heard the Tom and Jerry movies suck. Well, some of them. Hello, Ollie. Hello. I'm guessing that's not a question, even though you put a question mark, but I'll just say hello. Yeah, well, I'm going to review the Dial of Destiny. I can't tell you whether it'll be a rant. It could be just a very negative review, but if it is a rant, it's a rant. It's their own fault. It could be the worst Indiana Jones film yet. We'll see. Oh god, that would have been hilarious. No, and then because that would explain why Charles looks so bloody miserable when the crown was put on his head. Oh gosh, the things we can only imagine. That is one of my favorite scenes in Johnny English. Who are some of your favorite DreamWorks protagonists? Hiccup, Poe, Shrek. Those would be the main ones. Any other ones? I like the girl from Abominable. What's her name? I can't even remember her name, but she was good. Anyone else? No, those are it, I'd say. Oh, thanks, Jermaine. Thank you. Yes, I've been trying to lose weight, so you may see me look a bit different to how I looked. Well, certainly last year. Certainly since the start of this year, I've gradually been trying to lose weight, manage my appetite, and I'm not so down like I was before. So my life is taking a different turn, actually. So yeah, thank you for the compliments. No, I haven't seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, but I'm tempted to watch it. If nothing else, to rant on it. I've heard it's terrible. Best moment of acting from Zoe Saldana in the Avatar movies. Oh, there's so many moments. She's brilliant. I mean, I love her singing when she sings the song chord, but I also love the moments where she's emotional. Like, I think the moment when, spoiler alert, a certain character meets his end, and she cries. You know, she unleashes this wail of grief. And then she goes on to the Sea Dragon and just starts massacring all the men, all of Quaritch's men. And then she screams at the last one in his face and goes, "Ah!" You know, that's powerful stuff. It's really, really powerful. But Zoe Saldana's great at everything she does. You know, she's super gorgeous as well. You know, so good for her. Yeah, I'm glad you agree. There shouldn't really be any controversy over it because it's part of our society now. Not that everyone else seems to think so, but there we are. Movie franchises you think with the weirdest lineup of titles? Ooh, that's a good question. I've never had that question before. Very good question. I would say the Divergent series Insurgent, the Divergent series Allegiant. Yeah, like it's just clearly trying to rip off the way the Hunger Games wrote their titles. But the Hunger Games titles work better, like the Hunger Games Catching Fire. That flows. That sounds more natural. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. There's actually a new Hunger Games film coming out as well. But yeah, I mean, I've not even seen all the Divergent films, but those titles they're just strange. Very, very strange. Favorite and least favorite location in the Harry Potter series? Excluding Fantastic Beasts. Well, my favorite location, I mean, arguably it's Hogwarts, but other than Hogwarts, I'll be generous. In terms of the actual Wizarding World, gosh, that's a difficult question. I love, I love Hogsmeade, like, and Diagon Alley, like, where you get to sort of see more of like the shops and the culture of the Wizarding World. Least favorite location? Least favorite location? I'm not sure if there is a least favorite one. I don't have a least favorite, not at the moment. I'm trying to think. All the locations there are. Yeah, no, I haven't got a least favorite. Sorry. What piece of media you like while everyone else hates? Well, I seem to really like Spectre, and no one else seems to like that. But there we are. And the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, everyone seems to dislike that, but I thought it was really good. Any thoughts on Murray Gold's return to Doctor Who? I'm fine with it. I mean, he produced some fantastic music for the first 4 series, well, the first 5 years of Doctor Who when I was watching it, the Russell T Davies era. And then Murray Gold stayed on for the Moffat era, but gradually you could see him running out of ideas. But hopefully he'll have some new ideas and come back refreshed this time. So, yeah, I'm not as interested in Doctor Who anymore. I've kind of had a Doctor Who burnout, but I'll watch the 60th. So hopefully that will be very good. And I'm looking forward to hearing Murray's music. Even if he reuses old themes, I'm fine with it. Do you think if Disney had to give up Marvel or Star Wars to another license, which would they give up? I'd say probably Star Wars, because Marvel is producing more content for them. Star Wars, there's a lot of series, yes, but Marvel have movies and series constantly churning out. So I think Marvel's a little bit more valuable to them. There's just more, well, it's a bigger property as far as I'm concerned. There's more characters and there's more, licensing attached to it. Star Wars is great, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit more limited when you think about it. Matt Reeves is another modern director who knows how to make movies and treat characters with respect. Agreed, and fucking agreed. Thoughts on the trailer for Killers of the Flower Moon? I've not seen the trailer yet, but send me the link and I'll let you know what I think of the trailer. Favorite Palpatine Darth Sidious moment in Star Wars? There's quite a few. he's such a great character. I think my favorite Palpatine scenes come in Return of the Jedi, and I got to go to an anniversary screening of Return of the Jedi recently in cinemas, which was fucking brilliant. Where he's tempting Luke towards the dark side. He's like, "Take your weapon, strike me down. Your journey towards the dark side will be complete." All of that stuff was really, really good. And when he dies as well, it's pretty powerful, and Vader picks him up and throws him down the pit. Although adding in the no was a mistake. Damn it, George. Yeah. Yeah, no, Drake, it really is that long, and I'm honestly very baffled by that. It's like they're releasing the first cut. Would you rather watch Batman and Robin or Battlefield Earth? Probably Battlefield Earth, although I don't know if I've actually seen it, so I couldn't tell you anything about it. Are you looking forward to the Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes? Yes, I would say yes, but I haven't read the book. But I do like the films. I think they're good. Mockingjay did not need to be 2 films. I think I've changed my opinion on the Mockingjay films. But I really love Catching Fire. I really liked the first movie as well. I don't think I like the series as much as I used to, but they are good. And I would happily see another one. Any podcasts you like to watch on YouTube? I like to watch the Mark Commode film reviews, BBC 5 Radio Live or whatever. I like that. And I did watch the No Time to Die podcast, although that was on iTunes, before it released. Have you seen 2018's The Meg? No, I haven't seen it, but I know the second one's coming out soon. Can you do an impression of Bert from Mary Poppins? Oh gosh, I'll have a go. His accent is particularly ropey, so chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. I love for more hands while I shake hands with you. I don't know any of the lines, unfortunately. Mary Poppins. Yeah, he has a terrible Cockney accent, but still, bless him. He's got a lot of energy. Yeah. No. Indiana Jones should have been rebooted. Well, it probably will after this. I mean, yeah. Harrison wanted one last crack of the whip. No pun intended. Any Any theories about how the Nolan Joker actually got his scars? Don't know. Controversial, but maybe if we were to, for 1 minute, just say that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was like the Joker's film was a prequel to The Dark Knight, potentially he could have got his scars through self-harming, but that is quite dark. I suspect maybe it could have also been from abuse from his father. I mean, with DC, nothing's ever too dark, really. So who knows? But it is interesting to theorize. But he did kind of say in the film, although maybe it was bullshit. I don't know. Where would you take the upcoming Zootopia 2? I don't know. I'd like to see more of what I saw in the first. It's a well written. The first one is well written, has a good message, and I hope that the second one would have a similar message. It's been a while since I've seen the first one. I would have. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I need to watch the first one and let you know. I think it would be good to see Judy and Nick continue their sort of budding crime spree, but test their relationship a bit like in Ralph Breaks the Internet, when Ralph and Vanellope, temporarily break off as friends. Maybe they need to test the friendship like that. Whether that's having a third person in the sort of party, or whether that's something happens and one of them is at fault, who knows? But I have no idea specifically. Yeah, I haven't heard the PS1 soundtracks, but the soundtracks for the PS2 and 3 are great. I mean, the Hogwarts Legacy soundtrack is not up to much, but the ones based on the movies, like the game music for the Deathly Hallows games, is awesome as well. I have to be brutally honest when I say that. Yeah, you need to listen to it. It's on YouTube. Yes, I will let you know about that timeline. I thought that it was set before Shrek 2. But then there was, like, because of the Pinocchio scene, I don't know, it makes me wonder whether... Is it set... I don't know. Is it set after Shrek Forever After? But then that wouldn't make sense, because he's already in Far, Far Away in those movies. I think it's before Shrek 2. I can't think of anywhere else that it would be. It has to be there. And if it is a sequel to the first movie, then I have no idea. I hope they have a timeline sheet explaining that. Better villain theme, the Imperial March or Davy Jones's theme? Well, the thing is, Davy Jones's theme, I don't see it as a villain's theme, so I'm going to go with Imperial March, because that is terrifying. That's like something's coming that's pretty awful. It gives you that sort of chilling feeling, but it's also a good tune, and it's very hummable. Davy Jones's theme is sad. It's tragic. It's emotional. But it is beautiful. I love that thing. I love the music for Pirates of the Caribbean. It's amazing. Do you think it was right for Burke and Dragons to live separately? Yes and no. I think on the one hand, they didn't necessarily need to part ways, but at the same time, because there were so many people after the dragons were of high importance, and a lot of danger was always coming to Burke. Maybe it was right emotionally to sort of let go. Maybe it was time to sort of, they spent a long time coexisting, which was great, but maybe they needed to just let the dragons have some freedom and find their own way. The dragons were almost working for the humans, really, who used them as, well, the dragons allowed the humans to ride them and use them for battle. So I guess in a way it was granting them freedom. So I thought it was fitting, but that's just me. Any other YouTube reviewers you like to watch? Yes, Chris Stuckman. He's a good one. Jeremy Johns, Harry Thomas Pictures. Yeah, those are the main ones. There's a couple of others I dip in and out of, but I couldn't say the names. They're just random ones. Uh, Movies you quit watching because of how terrible they are. I've never walked out of the cinema early, but one of the films I watched at home, but I didn't watch all the way through, was Taken 2. I love the first Taken. The first Taken's really good, but the second one was just diabolical. I turned it off 30 minutes in. I was like, no, I can't do this shit. It's just awful. Thoughts on the rumor of Moffat return? That's my thought. Favorite moment or line of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator? I'll be back. Come on, it's obvious. It has to be that. Have you seen Knives Out or Glass Onion? Yes, I've reviewed both of them. The reviews are on my channel if you wish to hear my thoughts. What other roles would you like to see primeval actors in? Well, I know Douglas Henschel has done a lot of drama. Lucy Brown hasn't done anything. Not to my knowledge, anyway. Yeah, just different roles. Maybe doing period dramas or voice roles, maybe voice acting. Yeah, anything. Because Andrew Lee Potts is quite a funny guy, so I think he would be a great voice actor. You know, who knows? Can you do an impression of the annoying orange? Unfortunately, I can't. My voice is a bit too deep for that, and my family are next door. I don't want to disturb them. Favorite YouTuber you like to watch? I don't have a specific favorite. I've mentioned a few reviewers that I like, but yeah, I don't get much time to watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'm very busy, unfortunately. Okay, goodbye, Zach. I'm taking you're leaving, so I'll say goodbye. Oh, which Hogwarts houses would you put Lord of the Rings characters into? I believe I've answered this question before. Well, Gollum's in Slytherin. Frodo, I'd say, is in Hufflepuff. Sam's in Gryffindor. Gandalf, Ravenclaw, I guess. All the villains go in Slytherin, let's be honest. Yeah. Eowyn, Gryffindor. Arwen, Ravenclaw. Theoden, Hufflepuff. Merry and Pippin, both Hufflepuff. Yeah, that's enough. Do you have any plans for the summer? Might go away for a week to Dorset. I have an uncle that lives in Dorset. Might spend a bit of time down by the coast. Take a break from uni because I break up in August. It's a bit weird. Like my third term finishes at the beginning of August. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy. Every term I have is 13 weeks. So they structure it really weirdly because my degree is 2 years and not 3. It's done very strangely, but there we are. Other than that, probably just see some movies, do some YouTube stuff, hopefully lose a bit more weight. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, and see friends as well, socialize, see friends. I have a new job now, so I'll be able to work more casually. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Have you seen The Sound of Music? Oh, of course I've seen The Sound of bloody Music. I love The Sound of Music. I was in The Sound of Music. Well, I performed in the show twice. I did it once at school where I played the Admiral von Schreiber in one scene where I came to deliver Captain von Trapp his commission. And then I played it last year. I did it again with an amateur theatre company who I normally perform with. And I played Herr Zeller. And this time I put on a German accent. So, when is Captain von Trapp returning? So yeah, playing a Nazi was fun. But no, I love The Sound of Music. And I love the film as well. It is a long film. It's 3 hours, but it's a beautiful film. There's so much heart. The music is just brilliant. And I love the story. I love the story. It's one of my pleasures. I was raised on The Sound of Music. My family, my mum in particular, loves it. And I think it's one of the best musicals ever. It's just so heartwarming. Despite the fact that there are Nazis in it, but still, yeah, what can I say? It's a lovely show to do. I would gladly do it again. If I did it again, I would love to play Max. That's one of my dream roles. Max Detweiler, I would really, really like to play that part. Thank you, Jared. Movies you regret watching in the cinema. The Emoji Movie. Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1. There's probably more, but oh, God. Yeah, The Boss Baby. I watched that in the cinema. Power Rangers 2017, I watched in the cinema. Oh, God. There's quite a few, but those are the main ones. What kind of movie do you want Pixar or DreamWorks to do that they haven't done yet? Whatever they do it with heart, I guess. Pixar they've tackled a lot, and they've tackled some abstract concepts. It might be interesting for Pixar to maybe do a film with someone who is going through Alzheimer's or dementia, I don't know, or some serious illness. I mean, the closest we got to that was probably the opening of Up, where Carl Fredricksen, he loses his wife, Ellie, and we don't know why she dies, we just know she dies. Maybe we could do something like that, or who knows? Who knows? As for DreamWorks, much the same. Do something profound and hard hitting, but also appropriate for children as well. Yeah, Evil Dead Rise. I've not actually seen any of the Evil Dead films. The new one didn't really appeal to me. Maybe I'll watch it on rental. I didn't think it was worthy of a cinema viewing. Excuse me. Maybe I will listen to those podcasts, but I have none of particular interest in me at the moment. Hey Ross, how's it going? My most hated movie of all time. In my opinion, what is the worst movie of all time? The 50 Shades of Grey. Probably the first one. It's so bad. The worst animated film, Food Fight, was one of my least favorites. But yeah, I think the worst movie of all time for me is just 50 Shades of Grey, because it's not the cheapest film ever made, but the story is just so rotten. You got such a horrible character. They tried to sell it to you as a romance, but it's not. It's a story about domestic abuse, and it's so uncomfortable to watch. And all the sex scenes feel like rape. It's horrible. It's so uncomfortable to watch, and I think the story is honestly kind of offensive in a lot of ways, because it's trying to tell you, look, this is the author's idea of romance, is that this man, that men have to dominate women, which is not right. It's offensive to both men and women, because women are not objects and should not be treated as such, and men are not all men are predators, and they should not be treated like that. So that's my argument for that movie being one of the worst. The other two are still bad, but it's just more of the same with the other two. But the first movie it was so hard to watch. It really was. Thoughts of the Angry Video Game Nerd. Is that the same guy as Angry Joe? I like Angry Joe. Don't know if that's the same guy or not. Favorite moment of acting you've seen from Patrick Stewart? Ooh, it's quite... that's a good question. I like him in the X-Men films. He's pretty good in Star Trek, even if some of the Next Gen films are great. No specific moments, but yeah, I think his performance in Logan was one of my favorites. Actually, I thought he was particularly moving in that film. Do you think that Brad Fidel's score for the Terminator is iconic? Yes, very iconic. Thoughts on Keith Lemon? I'm nothing against the bloke, but he doesn't really appeal to me, to be honest. I don't find him funny, but I've nothing personally against him. Thoughts on Harry Hill? I like Harry Hill. I think he's pretty funny. Maybe he's a bit outdated now, but back in the day, he was pretty funny, and TV Burp was a good show. And obviously, he did the voiceover for You've Been Framed. I respect him. Most ridiculous creature in Doctor Who. Oh, gosh. The creatures that look like wedding cakes in Galaxy 4, I forget their names. Alpha Centauri is ridiculous. The Menaptera, I think the big V's, I think they're the ones that they talk like this, and they have their hands bent over like this. They're crazy stupid. Pixar's films think are the most interesting theories. I just like the Pixar theory in general, like the fact that all these films are interconnected. They are all part of the same franchise, and they all are full of the same timeline. I think that's kind of interesting. Obviously, it's only theory, but still, I like that. But yeah, any theories about Ratatouille, let me know, and I'd love to read them. Favorite line from Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin? Oh god, there's so many. Allow me to break the ice. Gosh, that one is just bad. Any other composers who should work on Doctor Who? Lorne Balfe would be good. Dominic Scherer, who did Primeval, would be great. Michael Giacchino. He's very sought after at the moment. But yeah, I think so. But I think Murray's cemented himself for me as the greatest Doctor Who composer. Well, he's my favorite anyway. Your favorite what if of changing world history? What if the cost of living crisis were to not be like this? What if the pandemic never happened? One of those. You know, who knows? Do you think was the exact moment Cobra crossed the point of no redemption? When he kills Ash. That is the one. He broke the one sacred law that they should never break. Ape don't kill ape. So there we are. And that was when Caesar had no choice but to let him go or let him fall to his death. In a way, I guess it makes Caesar a bit of a hypocrite because he kind of set the laws out. But, everybody had realized Koba was corrupt and needed to, he was beyond the point of redemption. So they all respected Caesar and they understood why Koba had to die. But because he killed Ash. So it was revenge, really, more than breaking the rules. But yeah. Very first PG-13 film I ever saw. Good question. Might be Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chests. That was a 12A. No, wrong. It was The Goblet of Fire. That was, I was 8 years old at the time. My sister was 6. That movie was a 12A. And we were, in this country, it's 12A, obviously PG-13 in America. But yeah, that was an experience. We were surprised that day. We didn't know we were going to see it until the day. So that was quite nice. Do you think the ending of Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom is a bit too sugary sweet? Kind of. I think the opening is too sugary sweet with the Anything Goes, the Anything Goes musical number. It's such a dark film. It's just odd. And then Indy makes that joke later on where he's like got Willie with the knife and he's like, I suggest you give me what you owe me or anything goes. What the fuck? And then the film gets so dark. So it's totally inconsistent to the hilt, but I like Temple of Doom. It's entertaining. It's not perfect, and it's certainly got problems. But yeah, the tone is one of them. What studio would I trust? That's a good question. Disney, depending on what the project is. New Line Cinema. Because let's face it, they help produce Lord of the Rings. And if they're willing to take a gamble and if they're willing to trust me, then I would appreciate that. Have you ever seen any Doctor Who action figure adventures back in the 2010s? No. I used to own some of the figures when I was a kid. I used to have the TARDIS playset and have some of the figures from the Russell T Davies era because it was huge at the time. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. Least favorite companion in Doctor Who. Favorite companion, Sarah Jane Smith. Least favorite companion, probably Mel, maybe Mel or Adric. Oh, Adric's okay. I don't know. Yeah, I'll say Mel. I'm afraid I haven't seen David Fincher's films. I'm sorry, I haven't seen David Fincher's films, but please tell me which ones to watch, and I would love to watch them. I'm always a bit nervous about new films, but with Planet of the Apes, the last three were so good. They were the perfect trilogy, and I was always curious to see if they were going to do another one, and I just hope they do it right. If Serkis is involved, does the motion capture for, like, if he plays older Cornelius, then I'd be up for that. Provided they treat it with as much care and sensitivity as the last three, then we'll be fine. I would prefer Matt Reeves to direct it, but if he's busy with Batman, then fair enough, but oh well. Who do you think developed as a character the most in Primeval? Probably Connor, because he was in it for such a long time. He was in it for the whole show, and he really matured, and he really took on more of a leadership role, and he was a smart kid, and he was a bit of a klutz at first. He was a bit clumsy, and he really earned the respect and love of Abby as well, and Cutter. Like, he almost became like a bit of a son to Cutter in some ways, a bit of a protege. So yeah, he's easily one of the best characters in the show, definitely. Who's your celebrity crush? Oh gosh, there's Amanda Seyfried is another one. I used to have a big crush on Emma Watson when she was in Potter. Yeah, there's quite a few that I'd have a crush on. Think of anyone else. There's definitely some more. Ana de Armas. Yes, Ana de Armas is probably one I have a massive crush on. Oh, God, she is gorgeous. She's so beautiful. Oh. Fuck. I've lost my place. Would you ever like to go on I'm a Celebrity? Yes, I would actually. I would love the challenge of managing on less food for 3 weeks. It would help me lose weight. But I've always loved the show. It's kind of trash, but at the same time, we all need a bit of trash TV in our lives. And I love the concept of doing the trials and you know, the bugs and stuff don't fear me that much. You know, they wouldn't put it on the show if it was that deadly. So, you know, I wouldn't be too worried about that. I would love to attempt some of the challenges, and I think it would be a great team building experiment and a team building exercise for 3 weeks just to go into the jungle. Yeah, I'd love that. I would really love that. Oh, nice. Yeah, I did watch some of the premiere for No Time to Die when it streamed live in 2021, which was great. Absorbaloff from Love and Monsters. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, it was designed by kids, so can't really, criticize too much. But yeah, it was one of the weaker designs. Bless. But that episode was kind of mediocre. Favorite middle post-credit scene in the Marvel movies? I love the shawarma scene. That's really cool. Oh, I can't remember all of them. That's the trouble. I'll go with the shawarma scene. There's probably more as well. I can't think of any at the moment. Sorry, my memory is not very good. Also on Pokemon, I'm nothing against it, but I never took the time to get into it, but I'm nothing against it. On Shawshank Redemption. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But yeah, it's very good. I'll have to review it at some point. Top 5 best opening scenes for any animated films. Ooh. That's a good question. Well, I love the opening to Toy Story 2. That's great. Finding Nemo, which is a heartbreaking opening. Inside Out. The Lion King. It's not all Disney. Probably Shrek as well. I love the opening from the first Shrek. And it's in no particular order. I will probably see The Little Mermaid maybe next Friday. I think it's out the 26th, so yeah, next Friday I probably will go and watch it after work. Yeah, that's my plan anyway. I'll probably see it with a friend or two, but I'm not excited for it. I'm assuming you mean what is my personal preference on comparing sympathetic villains to ones that are just cool because they're evil. No, it's not so much about villains being sympathetic. It's more being three-dimensional. Sympathy is only part. It's only one particular perspective. You can have a villain who isn't sympathetic but three-dimensional. You have them, do things that are cruel with a justifiable motivation. You don't have to like them, but you just have to understand. That's what I'm interested in, is villains who are three-dimensional. It's like the Colonel in Planet of the Apes. He's an arsehole. Arguably, he's an arsehole. He's a villain. But arguably he's not, because he did what he did for the war, he did what he did to survive, and for God's sake, he killed his own son because he saw his son becoming primitive, and it kind of triggered him to do what he was doing. And he's a soldier, so he has no time for emotion. He has no room for emotion in his life. And when you look at it from that perspective, when you go into the deep analysis of a character, that's when it becomes fascinating for me. Villains who are just cool because they're evil, and I want to take over the world. That might be okay for something small, something mundane, something that's there to just entertain. That's okay, that's fine. But I would personally rather have something or someone who I could really understand and dissect. Surely that's got to be more appealing. Saddest movie of all time. Oh gosh, that's a good question. 12 Years a Slave is very sad. I found that particularly harrowing. Joker, I think, is one that's down there as well. What was the other one? Yeah, those ones. Schindler's List. It's obviously very sad. Yeah, that's another one. What actor's death hit you the hardest? Yeah, Robin Williams was one that hit me the hardest. Probably for me, Sean Connery and Roger Moore, because I'm a massive James Bond fan. So that definitely resonated with me. And when Gene Wilder died, I was pretty sad because I've loved Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Sorry, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Favorite and least favorite Spielberg film? Favorite Spielberg film, potentially Schindler's List. Least favorite, BFG. Terrible. And yes, worse than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't like Spielberg's BFG. Thoughts on the new Doctor Who series coming? I'll give it a chance, but I'm kind of burned out from Doctor Who. I watched the 60th. The 60th looks great. But as for Ncuti Gatwa, I mean, Millie Gibson is a great choice for the companion. Ruby, I think her name is. Millie Gibson being in Coronation Street, and I saw her there for a few years. She's a beautiful girl, and she's very talented. I think she'll be a good choice. If the writing is better than it has been the last 10 years, then yeah, I'll give it a chance. But if this is like the last chance for me, if Russell, Ncuti, and Millie can't fix it, then I'm gonna be done. I'm just gonna say, yeah, I'm happy with what I've got. Let's just leave it. But I'm quite pleased that Tennant and Tate are back and Cribbins are back. I'm not David Tennant is back. I think it's very convoluted the way that they've made the 14th Doctor. It's just one headache after another with this show. But I'm glad he's back. It'd be nice and nostalgic. So whatever. Most nostalgic childhood film. Ooh, a lot of the Disney animations, for sure, definitely for sure. Dinosaur, one I used to love watching as a child. There's no one particular film that was the most nostalgic, but I also would have to say the Star Wars movies, because I was massively obsessed with Star Wars when I was a kid. The original trilogy and the prequels. And it's weird to think how my opinions have differed over the years, but yeah. Most annoying actor or actress. Annoying. Most annoying actor. I don't know. Probably Russell Brand. I'm not a fan of Russell Brand as an actor. And as for actress, I can't think of a specific actress. Let me think. Gotta think who is most annoying. I mean, Kristen Stewart's. Well, as you know, she's improved. To be fair, but she used to annoy me because she was very bland. I'm not sure. Ask me again in the next Q&A, and I hopefully will have an answer for you. Kirk. Yeah, Kirk's my preferred captain for Star Trek. Any songs you like to listen to in the summertime? Summer breeze. I have the playlist for Guardians of the Galaxy. I have all three soundtracks to the movies. I like listening to film music, but yeah, kind of game with anything. I quite like Coldplay, Simply Red, AC/DC, Elton John, Michael Jackson. There's a few things. I like a mixture of things. But Johnny Rivers is a good choice, to be fair. Yeah, the whole HBO Harry Potter series, it's going to be very Americanized, and I don't know if they'll even make it to 7 series. We'll have to see how the first one goes. Why not just finish Fantastic Beasts? Finish the last 2 Beast movies and then go from there. They talked about making a Cursed Child film. I don't know if that's still happening. Most disturbing experience with the weather. Like recently, the weather's been up and down. When it's really rainy and then really sunny. I mean, global warming's a massive problem in this world now. But yeah. And then like going from like hailstorm to sunshine, within a short space of time, that's a bit weird. But where I'm from, there's no like tornadoes or anything like that. It's fairly decent here. We're quite lucky. We don't have any turbulence or earthquakes or anything like that. So we're pretty lucky. What actors look younger than what they are? Gosh. Probably Daniel Radcliffe would be one. Ana de Armas looks really young, and can't say I haven't been looking. Don't know of anyone else. There must be a few. But yeah, those are ones that come to mind. Zoe Saldana. I mean, she's in her mid-40s or something. I think she looks like she's in her early 30s. Flipping hell. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad you've noticed. Yeah, it's going in. I'm getting there. I'm still not slim by any stretch of the imagination, but compared to how I was in January and before, if you just look at my old videos, you'll see how bad I looked. Result of lockdown, really. And I mean, I've never really been in shape, but now I'm just managing what I eat a bit better and exercising when I can. I'm not going intense with it. I don't have the time, so I can only do what I can. But yeah, thank you very much for that. And I do feel a lot better, actually. I feel more active, and I'm glad it's working. So I'm hoping over the course of the summer, I'll look even better. I haven't seen all of it yet, and I watched bits of it. I mean, it's nice that they're doing something different with I'm a Celeb, but I didn't actually see it. I've got it recorded. Maybe I'll watch it. Do you think there is any chance for Hitler to survive World War II and Dial of Destiny? maybe if it is going to be about time travel, it could be like, oh, they have to change like a fixed point in time, so they're going all Doctor Who on our asses, you know. God, it's like, Harrison, just stop, please, for the love of God. Ugh. Well, I've seen the game advertised. I haven't played it yet. I have got Jedi Fallen Order. I'm trying to play through that. It's pretty good, actually. I quite like it. I'm going to get Jedi Survivor when it goes down in price. I did think about buying it, but I thought, no, I'll wait till it goes down in price. This gaming is just way too expensive now. I don't think I could buy many games on first release. I bought Hogwarts Legacy because I was desperate to play it. But most things, and The Last of Us remake I got on PS5. But Jedi Survivor, I'm not in a rush for it, so I'll wait till it goes down in price. But yeah, so far, probably the best recent Star Wars games. I mean, the Battlefront games were really disappointing. So yeah, not a fan of those. Sorry, do excuse me. I don't know if Marvel will ever be on its way out. It's only if the money runs out. If people stop going to the movies to see them, maybe. But then there's so much content on streaming. So who knows? Maybe we'll have less a year because we usually have like 2 or 3 a year. I think we've still got one more. We've got, I think it's the Marvels to come out. We had Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which was disappointing. And then we had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I thought was really good. So hopefully the Marvels will be good, but I wasn't huge on Captain Marvel, so we shall see. Thoughts on the Scooby-Doo movies? If you're talking about the Raja Gosnell movies, I can see where the criticisms are coming from, to be honest. I will properly review them, but let's just say I think the first one is pretty bad. Not a total disaster. The cast are really good. I think they cast them really well, and the production looks great. The costumes are perfect. It's the story. It's the script. It doesn't work. It doesn't honor the cartoons that well. And yeah, I mean, it has moments of heart, of course. It's just, for me, very sloppy. Like, the story is just really underwhelming. Scrappy-Doo is the villain. I mean, fucking hell. And then the second one was a bit better because it had more of the classic monsters, but same kind of convoluted writing. Just, yeah, it was a slightly better version of the first one, but it's a shame they couldn't do a third because the cast were very good. But the second one had some weird, like, sexual innuendo, like making Velma sexy and stuff. You know, walking down the stairs going, "Who's your mommy?" It's like, this is not the Scooby-Doo that I imagined. Yeah, it's a bit weird. And Scooby dancing with an afro in his head in a nightclub. What the hell? What the fucking hell? Oy vey. Top 3 Harry Potter actors. Well, it would be very cliche to say the main 3. So I'll just say my 3 favorite actors. I'll give Daniel Radcliffe the pass because, you know, he was Harry, so it's only fair. I thought Ralph Fiennes was really good as Voldemort. And, you know, I actually think, just from an acting standpoint, Imelda Staunton as Umbridge, she was one of the best actors they ever got. And I'm going to add a 4th one. I'm going to say Alan Rickman as Snape as well. I thought he was really good. But the whole cast of Potter was fantastic. I don't know how they're going to cast the new HBO series. And quite frankly, I don't give 2 shits about that. So, who's the best character in the Star Wars sequel trilogy? BB-8. Enough said. Thoughts on the bit in Batman and Robin where Robin says cowbunga? Well, it's not the worst part of the movie. Thoughts on I'm a Celebrity South Africa series? No, it's over. I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. It looked fine, you know, but I would be more interested in the actual series that's coming in November. Thoughts on the bit when Batman and Robin says she wants to kill you, dick? Yeah, I mean, what a guy to have his name be Dick. You know, that's just, yeah. That's such a terrible name. Bless him. I think there's even a line where they're arguing over like bidding for Poison Ivy, and he's like, "Bite me, dick." Oh God, yeah. But you gotta laugh at it. Right, 36 Disney live action remakes in plan. Yeah, you may be in shock, but I'm not. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I mean, they've already remade half the bloody films, so nothing surprises me anymore. we shall see what's. I think Snow White is on the cards next, and Lilo and Stitch. I think they're the next ones. There's bound to be others. Like they'll do Fox and the Hound, and the Rescuers. They'll probably do that as well. God, shit! I'm looking forward to that. And live action Aristocats. My thoughts on it are the same as anything else. It's what can we do? You know, it'll be easy to get angry every time they announce a new live action remake, but what's the point? We should expect it now. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. So I'll see them for you guys to review them, and I'll see them for the channel, but that's it. If I didn't have this channel, I wouldn't need to watch them. Let's put it that way. Best Pixar sequel of the ones made. Toy Story 2, I would say. Yeah, Toy Story 2 is an amazing sequel. Although my favorite is actually wrong. Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is my favorite Toy Story film. So that would be my favorite Pixar sequel. Inside Out 2 could top them. Who knows? I hope that Inside Out 2 is at least on the same quality as Inside Out 1, because I think it's a masterpiece, Inside Out. So we'll see. Any detective shows you like to watch? Not really. I've watched a bit of Poirot before. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not really a show person. I like films more. Like I watched the Death on the Nile, the remake of that. It was decent. You know, it was fine for what it was. What do you think if they made a remake of Disney Robin Hood with hyper-realistic animals? You know, again, I don't give a shit about the remakes. They can do what they like. I'll still have to watch them and review them for you guys, but I don't care by this point because they're all following the same pattern. So, yeah. Have you seen the animated BFG? Yes, I have seen it. Been years since I've seen it, but I thought it was charming. You know, it was decent. It's not as good as the book, but, you know, it's better than the Steven Spielberg film. Who's the more harder-edged Bond, Dalton or Craig? That's a good question. Up for debate. Potentially Dalton, only because Craig has been allowed to show his more emotional, vulnerable side. But then I think aspects of Craig are grittier than Dalton, so I'm going to give the edge to Craig on this one. But both are equally very good. Not sure. Gene Wilder's great at comedy. I would like him to see him play a comedy role. That would be quite nice. Or a villain. He's, you know, would have been nice to see him get into his sort of darker side. Not seeing Human Centipede. Sorry. Disney live-action remakes these days. Do you think we'll probably too harsh on the direct-to-video sequels? Maybe. I think people might have reassessed a few of them and said, actually, they're not that bad because at least they're better than the remakes, you know. But a lot of them are still not great. But at least they're not redoing what's been done before. They're doing something new, but they're just not doing it well. Yeah, who knows? Favorite Hugo Weaving performance. As much as I like him in The Matrix, I think Elrond in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Easily. Not watched Tyrone Magnus. The Critical Drinker's pretty cool. I've seen a few videos of them. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, 10 Aladdin 2s and 5 of these remakes. That's another rant that's coming. Return of Jafar. Fuck that movie. That movie is fucking dog shit. It's so bad. King of Thieves is actually decent, but Return of Jafar is god awful. Weird Al, not quite sure who you mean, so I don't know if I can answer that question. I'm sorry. Which Spider-Man villain do you want to see in the next Tom Holland movie? I would have said Kraven the Hunter, but they're making a Kraven film. Morbius, that'd be interesting. Yeah. Scorpion. Scorpion would be a great one. The villain topic. Where would you rate the Carnotaur from Dinosaur? When you say where would I rate them, in comparison to what? Well, they are basically just mindless creatures. They don't speak. I guess that was done to signify that they were the antagonists. But I think it would have been nice to hear them speak, but it's not. Ultimately, it doesn't make much of a difference to the movie for me. But yeah. Yeah, I think Timothy Dalton definitely deserved more than what he got. Such a shame License to Kill bombed at the box office. I mean, yeah, The Living Daylights, I guess it is a little convoluted. It's a little complicated. But I think it's entertaining. I think it's a great thriller and it's engaging and it's got a lot of heart, It's a little bit more harder edge than A View to a Kill. But License to Kill, I think, went a bit far with the dark stuff. Felt a bit like Miami Vice, with James Bond. It should not have been Dalton's last one, but both films equally have great moments in them, Have you had any tornadoes in the UK? No. Not to my knowledge, anyway. Yeah, well, Tom Holland is young. He's probably about my age. He's about 25, 26. So, yeah. It's a good question, Dinobot. It's a good question. The villain, Philip from Primeval, I kind of like the fact that he is just this mysterious guy that turns up. We don't know much about him other than that he knows Helen Cutter. And yeah, he's probably definitely probably one. Yes, and maybe character Charles Muntz from Up. I mean, we know he wants to gain his success from discovering this new bird. So he wants fame and acclaim, and he feels he was wronged by certain people. But he's not the most three-dimensional villain. So maybe him. But yeah, I think every villain should have some depth. Favorite Tigress moment from the Kung Fu Panda movies? I like her fight with Tai Lung on the bridge in the first movie. And yes, and I am going to see Kung Fu Panda 4 when it releases. Well, I don't know. Years ago, I would have thought so. But on reflection, I think Poe and Tigress probably work better as just friends. Like, it's okay for men and women to be best friends. And also, the fact remains, in other movies, we've had interspecies relationships, and it's just awkward. Like The Wild, there's like a squirrel and a giraffe in a romantic relationship. Ugh. Think of the children. Fucking hell. But as for Poe and Tigress, yeah, they are just best friends. They like if Poe wants a love interest, give him a panda love interest. If Tigress wants a man, give her a tiger. None of the interspecies stuff is just uncomfortable. Yeah, because like I have a really close friend who's a girl. We met a few months ago. Truthfully, I did have a bit of a romantic interest in her, but she already had a partner, and I didn't realize. So we agreed to remain really good friends, and we have been ever since. And she is just adorable. I love her to bits. I really do. She is she's such a lovely girl. Very positive, very encouraging to me, supporting me. I try and be the same to her. And she's funny, we have a great laugh and we have similar interests. Hence why I thought at first I was interested in her. But it's okay to just have a really close friend who's of the opposite gender. You know, if people suspect there's a romantic thing going on, then that's them. That's their lookout. You know, I'm very glad that I met her. You know, and we've had lots of lovely memories, and hopefully there'll be some more. So, yeah, it's nice when you meet people like that. I have quite a few friends who are girls, but she's one who I've met recently, and I hope I continue to see more of her. Tipo, it's a good ship name. Yeah, Indiana Jones. I mean, dinosaurs would be a bit far fetched. I mean, gosh, but then again, the Dial of Destiny has been time travel in it. If anything's possible. Yeah, maybe. Excuse me. And then again, Jurassic Park and Jurassic World have dinosaurs in modern days, so yeah. Favorite Tigress moment from the Kung Fu Panda movies? You've already asked me that question. I've already answered that. I prefer the Scooby-Doo movie over the second one. Fair enough. I personally think the second is a little bit better, but they're both on quite a similar level for me. Oh god, yeah, I hate that line. That's such a terrible line. Again, it's like this is a kids' film. This Scooby-Doo was a children's cartoon, and all this sexual innuendo, all this humor, is completely inappropriate. I mean, what the hell? You know, I'm okay with the swapping bodies thing. That was fine, but he says I could look at myself naked. It's not funny, dude. It's just cringy. Ugh. God, I mean, it's well edited. Well, that whole sequence where they switch bodies, it is well dubbed. I'll give it that, but it's not good. Also, when Fred says, "Would you review Avengers with Patrick Mooney?" Yeah, I would consider that. I like Patrick Mooney, and I think Diana Riggs in it as well. It's something you would say the '90s did better than the movies today. Less reliant on CGI for one thing. Well, until you get to like the Matrix and the Phantom Menace, but favorite end of series cliffhanger in Primeval. Probably series 3 when Danny gets trapped in the anomalies. Even though I don't like the last episode of series 3 very much because it's so haphazardly written. The moment Danny gets trapped, I'm like, oh wow, they end the series there. That's pretty ballsy. Yeah, I mean, obviously, in some cases, Dick is shorter for Richard. I don't know why. It's like supposed to be some abbreviation, but in the context of the film, it's just kind of stupid. You know, Dick Grayson. What can you say? What would you do with a sequel to Robin Hood? It would probably be very similar to the first one. There would be some, maybe they go on a treasure hunt or something. They find the secret stash of the sheriff's treasure. And yeah, maybe they, again, try to give it to the poor. I don't know. Or maybe Robin is like framed for murder or something. They try to break him out of prison or something. I don't know. I've got no ideas for that. Have you seen Danger Mouse or Count Duckula? I've seen Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse was fun. If you were the Doctor Who showrunner, who would you cast as the Doctor? I don't know. Who would I cast as the Doctor? I think Richard Armitage would be a good Doctor. He's got that smouldering intensity, but he can also be pretty charming. I've seen him in a few other roles. And I think he would also go to the dark places that the character needs to go. The Doctor's a hard character to play. Very difficult character to play. Favorite action scene in Pirates of the Caribbean films? Well, my absolutely favorite sequence in the whole series is the 3-way sword fights in Dead Man's Chests on the big wheel. That sequence is amazing. I fucking love it. I mean, some have said it is silly and over the top, but isn't that the fun of pirates? You know, it's based on the fairground ride, for God's sake. You know, the fact that you know, it's Jack versus Will versus Norrington. You know, and all three of them have to snatch the key and fight each other. It's actually inspired me to create my own three-way fight sequence for an upcoming film that I'm making. No spoilers, but obviously I'm not going to have a massive wheel. I don't have the budget for that, but I'm planning to create a three-way fight sequence myself. You don't see many of them. It's quite an ingenious idea to have a three-way. You don't often see it, and I do often look back to that sequence and think, bloody hell, how did they do that? They choreographed that so well. Because there are moments, obviously, when they have to split the fight up, and then the two of them go at it, and then another two go at it once they snatch the key. So it really becomes a bit of a chase, really, as well as a fight. So I think that's awesome. But I also love the battles. Like the battle in At World's End is epic. The sword fight with Jack and Will in the first movie is also really good. On Stranger Tides had a great sword fight with Jack and Angelica. But yeah, no, the wheel sequence is great. I mean, Kraken as well. Love the Kraken sequences. Al Yankovic. I'm sorry, I've got no idea what you're talking about. Favorite LGBTQ couples. Or just generally, or just in movies. I don't know. Not many in film that I know about. Got no idea. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that. I've got no clue. What would you think if Fast and Furious movie had dinosaurs in it? Well, it'd be totally ridiculous. That's for one thing. Patrick Macnee is an actor of old. He's not around anymore. Very famous for a series called The Avengers, nothing to do with Marvel. And he was also in a James Bond movie called A View to a Kill. And he played a role called Tibbet. Look him up. Patrick Macnee is a pretty famous actor. Do you have any theories where Primeval Series 4 was going to go before it cancelled and renewed? I would have expected Danny to come back a lot sooner. I would have expected the arc not to change in the way it did. And obviously the new characters would have sort of taken over the running of the arc, which is fine. Some of my theories came true, Abby and Connor coming back and Danny coming back, but in different ways. I expected Sarah to still be there, but sadly that was not the case. Oh well, never mind. And I was quite disappointed with series 4 and 5, to be honest. 4 was just okay, 5 was bad. Gosh. During the structure dinner scene, which food on the table looked the most delicious? There was a roast hog. I quite liked the look of that. It looked fun. It looked nice. I don't know. I don't know if there's anyone who is too old to be the Doctor. Maybe Ian McKellen would have been good as the Doctor in his younger days. Yeah. Or Patrick Stewart. Which Star Wars movie is your favorite soundtrack? Well, it's all pretty consistent because most of the music is reused. I'll probably say I don't know. I really, but I'm actually my favorite Star Wars soundtrack is actually weirdly Revenge of the Sith. There's some beautiful emotional soundtracks in there and some epic ones too. Obviously, Empire is my favorite Star Wars film, and it has the Imperial March theme. But all the Star Wars music is brilliant. But I don't know, Revenge of the Sith, even though, yes, the prequels are not great, George tried and John Williams tried to get the emotion out, and I feel that they succeeded with the music. Revenge of the Sith soundtrack is excellent. It's powerful. It's so powerful. Take care, Doug. Thanks for the questions. Hello, Daniel. Of losing weight. Yeah, the thing about losing weight, it's once you change your mindset, it becomes easier. So you have to be disciplined. There's no doubt about that. The way I chose to do it is calories in, calories out. You eat a bit less, and then you work it off. You exercise and you keep yourself busy. The more you move your body, the easier it will be. So because I'm such a busy person, I have no time to sit around at home and eat food. Not all the time. And it drives me mad sitting at home all the time. It really does. After lockdown, fucking happily stay outside all day. And more lately, I've been getting into kind of fasting a little bit. Not much, but just every other day, kind of not eating till like maybe late afternoon or sort of lunchtime-ish. So having the morning of nothing. And actually, my body's coped all right with it. Coped okay with it. Or I have something like a protein shake or something with protein. Like the best food to have is anything with protein. It will fill you up more and you'll feel full for longer. You won't get as hungry. Once you do it for long enough, results will start to show. It's been working for me, and because I used to have really bad eating habits, clearly with the way I used to look. And it's not nice to kind of dwell on how I looked before, but making a change is good, but you've got to commit to it. I wouldn't ever tell anyone to cut out the food they love, because that's horrible. And that's whenever I've tried to lose weight in the past, that's what I tried to do, and I was not in the right mindset. So my basis is diets. They can and can't work. It really just depends. Everything is in moderation. They say eat little but often. So you manage it how you will, but that's how I do it. Favorite Moneypenny moment in the Craigmore movies? Great question. Obviously, I love her reveal at the end when she says, "My name is Eve Moneypenny." For me, it's a toss-up between the shaving scene from Skyfall or the opening of Skyfall where she kicks real ass. Might go with the opening of Skyfall. That's where she's at her most badass. And when she shoots Bond, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? Anyway, thanks for the questions, Awesome, and I will see you very soon. Oh yes, the new Mission Impossible. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm not a massive Mission Impossible fan, but I like the movies. I think they're fun. I think they're good. Why do you not like mashed potatoes? I don't know. It's the consistency, very creamy and just kind of never liked them. The one potato I don't like, and like swede. I've never really liked swede. Most disgusting food dish you've ever seen in a film. Oh God. I mean, in Oliver Twist, they have some pretty disgusting food, like gruel or something. There was one film where, like, it just looked like a kind of slump of porridge or rice pudding or something, semolina. It looked, but I can't remember what film it was. But yeah, it had some really awful food that just made you feel kind of sick. Yes, the lobster and turkey did look good. I don't know anyone who likes the new Peter Pan movie. Actually, no, a friend of mine he likes Peter Pan. He's a fan of Peter Pan, the story. He said he really enjoyed the new film, but then he's not as like interested in film as me. He's more interested in theatre and all that kind of stuff. But never, that's just his opinion. Dinobot, I like your idea. My stream's acting odd. No, am I losing connection? Maybe. I hope not. Worst Star Wars moment in the live action series. Oof. Probably Attack of the Clones when Padme says, "I truly, deeply love you." Ugh, George, for God's sake. Either that or Jar Jar Binks. Just any scene with Jar Jar Binks. Do you prefer Top Gun or Mission Impossible? Mission Impossible. Thoughts on Watch Mojo? I like Watch Mojo. Yes, I have watched some of their videos. Some of their ranking choices are a bit odd, but I do like them. They are good. What do you think is the worst film to have? Worst for a film to have bad audio quality, editing, or bad cinematography? I would say, well, editing kind of encompasses audio quality anyway. I would say the editing, really, because without a proper assembly of the final cut, it would be very hard to follow a story. Yeah, it's like one film I think which is very badly edited is Trail of the Pink Panther. It's a compilation of just deleted scenes from other movies they've tried to stitch together as a coherent narrative, but it's very incoherent because they're working from archive footage. And they've got to try and make it make sense, but it doesn't work. And I mean, bless the editor for like able to actually stitch something together. But it doesn't pay off. Let's put it that way. Thank you, Lauren. Peace out. Your personal least favorite / most hated moment from the Bond series. Well, I hate when Brosnan ditches the PPK for the P99. That's stupid. Die Another Day's windsurfing scene, I really hate that. Those are two moments I really just can't stand. Ugh. I didn't know Eddie Murphy was going to be in it, but I did hear rumors about a new Pink Panther film. Yeah, definitely. Like today, I actually didn't really eat until late this afternoon. I had swimming this afternoon, but before that, I had work. And at work on my break, I just had a protein shake, and I was managing okay. Like I didn't feel faint or anything. My body's gotten used to having less. But tomorrow, I'm going out to see some friends. I'm actually going to see Harry Thomas. Fun enough, tomorrow. I am. I probably won't be eating till lunch, or maybe I'll have a snack at the cinema. We're going to the cinema. But sometimes I skip breakfast, or I have just a shake for breakfast, because it acts as a bit of a meal replacement, and then because your body's not consuming as much, it's a bit easier to lose the weight. So, yeah, I'm no expert, but it's just from my own experience. I don't really care about being an athlete, but obviously exercise is part of the gig. Swimming is one of the ones I like because you move your whole body around, and it's one of the few that I enjoy. But I walk everywhere, so I don't drive. I walk. So that's bound to help as well. Just, again, the more you move, that's it. Thoughts on the Mockingjay films now? Needlessly padded out, needlessly over long. Didn't need to be 2 films. Part 1 is like they are decent. I'd say the first one is a decent drama. The second one's probably not as good. It's too long and it's a little bit drawn out, but I enjoyed it, at the time, but it's been years since I've seen it. I'd have to re-review them, I think. Would you like to be the story in the new Planet of the Apes film? I would love the story to be older Cornelius, played by Andy Serkis, leading the people, forging the new kingdom, and kind of, almost in a way, homaging the original film, like changing the Earth and kind of adapting the Earth to its new lifestyle, whilst also dealing with any other threat. But, yeah, that's kind of, I don't have a sort of major plot plan, but definitely Cornelius older and becoming the leader of the group. Well, I don't think On Her Majesty's Secret Service is terrible editing. Some of the dubbing's a bit off on certain scenes, and the movie is quite long. But aside from that, it's pretty decently edited. It flows well. So I wouldn't say it's bad. Maybe it's flawed. Certainly it's flawed. But I think there are worse edited films. I think it's better edited than Thunder. All right, Jeff Fowler. Fair enough. The darkest moment from every Bond actor. Oh gosh. Connery's darkest moment. I think. Yeah, well, that's going to be interesting. Oh gosh, I can't think. Oh. Oh, I'm really sorry. I can't think of Connery's one. Lazenby. When I suppose in terms of a cold kill, well, not really a kill, but kind of launches Blofeld into the tree, and he sort of Blofeld hangs. Roger's darkest moment for me would be when he says, "Where's Feckish? Pyramids!" And then he kicks him off throws the guy off the roof, but also when he kicks the car down the cliff in For Your Eyes Only. Timothy Dalton. Several darkest moments from him. I think his best moment as Bond is when he does the interrogation for Pushkin. That's pretty dark. I think when Sanchez dies, I think that's probably his Dalton's darkest moment. Brosnan. Not many dark moments with Brosnan. Maybe the part when I don't know. I'm really sorry. I cannot think of any at the moment. As for Craig, darkest moment would probably be, well, obviously he doesn't perform this act, but the torture scene in Casino Royale clearly is his darkest moment. As for the others, I'm really going to have to think about it. My brain is not working properly. Connery. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I can't think of any more. No, I haven't watched Black Mirror. But feel free to recommend it to me. Pierce Brosnan as Robin. Well, maybe. Pierce Brosnan kind of does the same thing in most of his movies, so you can predict how it would be. Also on Gogglebox. I don't mind the show. I have nothing against it. I'm not an avid fan of it, but if it's on, I'll watch it. I have watched Game of Thrones, but only the first 2 seasons and then part of the third. I couldn't really keep up with the story. I found it very convoluted. It's a bit hard to follow. So I kind of lost interest in it. But I hear it gets pretty crap as it goes along anyway, so I didn't see the point of continuing. I haven't seen Taskmaster, but I've heard of it. Did I ever ask what you think of Fox and the Hound 2 would be about? Some weird midquel, which is what we got. Probably an adventure with the 2 characters when they're grown up. I know they kind of grow up in the first one, but maybe about their kids. Maybe they all have kids. Maybe they get. I don't know. maybe an adventure with their kids. Yeah, it could be a moment for Connery when he kills Strangways. Yeah. Yeah, the train scene with Grant and Connery. Yeah. That could work. Brosnan killing Elektra. Yeah, I suppose that's probably his darkest moment. Would you do a final Brosnan film as campy, or the most dark and gritty possibly before moving on to Craig? I'd find somewhere in between. Yeah, I wouldn't have it quite as silly as Die Another Day or the other ones, but I'd have it somewhat grounded with a bit of pathos, if possible, before moving on to the gritty Casino Royale. But yeah. Any composer you think would make a good Bond score? Michael Giacchino, James Newton Howard. They would be great to do Bond soundtracks, but who knows if they'll get the chance. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there because it's been nearly 2 hours. And I think I need to go and rest. My brain is turning itself off and I've got to be up quite early tomorrow. But thank you for the questions. It's really appreciated. And thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time. And stay tuned for another live Q&A. I will come back soon. Maybe next month or some point when I've got free time. Who knows? But anyway, good evening, guys. Thank you all for watching. I am Pajak's Perspective. See ya. Good night.